Hi there, everyone. Today we're going to be doing an overlapping shapes art project. So for this activity, there are lots of choices, but I would make one recommendation is always do the steps in this order. First, do your tracing and then do all of your coloring. If you try to do tracing over top of the crayon that you've already colored, then your marker might not work, your pencil might not work on top of the crayon. So first do all of your tracing and then do all of your coloring. So what you can decide for this project, all of the options that we have, what shape do you want to trace? If you have extra paper towel holders or toilet paper rolls, you can use those to trace the circle shape. Those are good too because if you use a marker, the cardboard kind of soaks it in. If you're tracing something that is metal or plastic, like this turtle puzzle piece that I have, if you use marker on the outside, you have to be a little bit more careful because it will rub off and get on your fingers, which is okay because it's a washable marker. No worries, just a small problem. So you can do anything like a puzzle piece or a cookie cutter, or this is kind of like a preschool duplo block that I used for my square shape. So look around the house for fun shapes that you can trace. That's going to be your first choice. Do you want to do all the same shape? Do you want to do different shapes mixed together? That is a choice that you get to make as the artist. The next choice is, how do you want to trace your shapes? Do you want to use a pencil first and then trace over with marker? Or do you want to go ahead and use marker right away? So I'll show you the two different ways that you can do that. So what you can do is you can either put your shape down and use your pencil. That way you don't have to worry about getting your shapes dirty with the marker. They'll stay nice and clean. Go around the outside. But that line from my pencil is a little bit hard to see. You can't even see it from up there, huh? Oh. So I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to trace over my pencil line so that it's easier to see for my project. So you can decide what shapes do you want to use, and you can decide, do you want to start with a pencil and then trace with marker, or do you want to be bold and use a marker right away? If you use a marker right away and you're using a plastic or a metal shape like this, it's going to get a little bit dirty on the sides and it might get your fingers dirty. So you might want to keep a paper towel or a washcloth right with you at your station so that you don't get a little bit of your messy fingers in the wrong spot on your project. So that would kind of be a bummer if you made a little mark on accident on your paper. The next thing that you get to decide is, what colors are you going to use to fill in your shapes? You could choose 3 colors or more, but I would say at least 3, because what we're going to do for this activity is I'm going to choose all of my squares are going to be blue. You know what? I guess you only need 2 colors, 2 colors or more. All of my squares are going to be blue. I'm coloring in. Here's the line for the outside of my square. So I'm going to color in all of the square. And then all of my turtles are going to be green. And here's the line for the outside of my turtle. So there's going to be a little space where they overlap that's filled in with blue and green. And that is a cool part of this art project, is where the shapes overlap. You'll notice I'm using my teeny tiny crayon because that's going to help me pinch with my fingertips. And then there's an example of how that turns out. My blue square and my green turtle overlap, make a little bit of a different blue-green color. So if you're just doing one shape, you have to think about a pattern. So I'm going to add some more circles to this little section up here. I found that if I use my little paper towel roll, it's easier to see, but it's not very strong. So I don't get as nice of circles with that one. My bigger paper towel roll is stronger, doesn't squish as easily, but it's a little bit harder for me to see around. So I'm going to add a couple more circles. And then I'm going to show you how I would use two colors there. So I would start with a green circle, color it all the way in, and then a blue circle. And then a green circle. And a blue circle. So that's how you could use two colors, but the same shape. You still get that overlapping effect where the two shapes touch. And then because you are the artist, you could decide you want to use a lot of different colors. So that's what I did here. I used a lot of different shapes and a lot of different colors. And you can see where the yellow overlaps with the red, it looks a little bit orange. Where blue and yellow meet, that looks green. So you get to decide what kind of shapes do you want, how many colors do you want, but I would recommend always doing first trace, then color. Because if you try to trace over top of your crayon, it might not work out very well. Have fun with this art project. I know it's a fun one to do because you have lots of different options. You get to decide what colors, what shapes, how many shapes you're going to put on your paper. So I hope you guys enjoy it. I know that it's a fun one and an easy one because no matter what you do, it looks great.